but hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing a 2023 Nissan Rogue Platinum to see what happens if you spend all of the money on a Rogue. Before getting to this video though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Tim Daly Nissan here in Murray, Utah for giving me some time with this Rogue. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Jeff. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 1.5 liter 3-cylinder that goes through an Xtronic CVT. Power outputs are 201 horsepower and then 225 pound-feet of torque, with fuel economy being 28 around town and then 34 on the highway. Before we go over the front end of the Rogue, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Starting with the hood on the Rogue, it's pretty simplistic when it comes to the design, but you guys can see you've got some kind of like lines there on the outside. Down below, you can see we've got the split light design LED headlights with the LED daytime running lights, Nissan smiley face front grille with the Nissan logo front and center. There is a camera at the bottom of that logo. Parking sensors here on the front end with some silver trim there at the bottom. Altogether, this definitely does give the Rogue a distinctive look, and there you go. Tire and wheel setup is 235, 55, 19 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see here with the wheel design, you got the silver on the top with the metallic gray beside that. And notice here with the fender flare that's wrapped around that goes to a little splash guard. With our full side view, you notice we've got some chrome trim there at the bottom, then also on the window, but then the pillars blacked out, so it's kind of all interesting. But I will say I do kind of like that crease there that goes along the side, but there you go. We've got our new style key fob here for the Rogue with the Nissan logo there at the top, remote start function, lock, unlock, and then the opening here for the hatch. Now the Rogue has plenty of storage space here in the back behind the second row, which just makes it extremely practical. I guess everyone's doing some first aid kits, so we got our Nissan first aid kit, and then underneath here, you can see a little bit more storage. And if you keep digging down, you can also find the spare tire. This function will lock the Rogue, and then you've got that to just lower the hatch right back down. Pretty cool taillights here with the Rogue. You guys can see there with the turn signal indicator. And then pretty normal badging here on the back. Notice lots of chrome. And then you do have some parking sensors there at the bottom with some more chrome trim. Also, notice the exhaust tip is not prominent. It is hanging there off to the side, but they kind of hide it for stylistic purposes. Now, when you pull it all together, I definitely think the back of the Rogue is pretty good looking, and this also does have the kick feature where you can kick underneath the tailgate to open it up. Pretty neat two-tone design here with the brown and the black. Notice the white contrasted stitching. We've got a sunshade here in the rear. Love the door handle and then that trim around the window control. Popping over to the seating area with the Rogue. Notice the quilted design there in the center of the seats, and then you got more of that contrasted stitching. We have heated seats here for the rear passengers, some USBs. We even have our own climate zone that we can adjust, and we've got vents there in the center. Legroom's pretty solid with our little storage pocket. Headroom's also pretty solid here in the Rogue. Don't worry, I didn't forget about it. Cup holder armrest. The front door panel has that same two-tone design, and then again with the contrast stitching. All of our window controls here for the front, mirror adjustments. This does come with memory seats, and then we also have blind spot monitoring for the mirrors. With the front seat, it does have that same design as the rear, as you can see quilted there in the center. Power adjustments here on the side, and then notice the Rogue plaque is illuminated. Pretty normal pedals, but we do have a hood latch release here. That's to open up the trunk. This is for your steering assistance, and then that's for the heads-up display. We've got this very nicely sculpted steering wheel here with the Rogue. We've got the darker stitching there on the center portion. Paddle shifters here on the back for that Xtronic CVT. We do have controls for our cruise control system. It is adaptive. And then we've got our volume controls for the center stack, turn signal light stock, and then windshield wiper stock. We've got this full digital gauge cluster here in the center of the Rogue. Definitely cool with the style. You can see different bits of info with the vehicle. I do love the transition animations that it has from some of the menus. There are several different drive modes to choose from. So we've got a snow, an off-road mode. Yes, we have an off-road mode, auto, and then eco and sport that you can go through. Backup camera here. Trajectory lines do turn with the steering wheel. We also have that bird's eye view as well. And if we actually put it into park and then press the camera button, it'll pop back up, and you guys can see with the front camera view, it also has trajectory lines. You got the side view. So overall, great camera system. So here's the infotainment system. Notice that we have a bunch of little shortcut buttons here, both built into the screen and then also just regular analog buttons. Overall, response time with the screen is pretty solid. It's easy to use, and you have enough shortcuts that, well, it's easy to figure out. That two-tone design continues, so we got the brown on the top of the dash, and then that continues into the black padding with more of that contrasted stitching. We've got our dual zone climate controls down below with heated seats here for the front passengers and a heated steering wheel for the driver. Little charging port area with some USBs, 12-volt wireless phone charging pad with some cool lighting that goes around, and then our start button. And then the main portion of the center console here has some cup holders, our shifter for that Xtronic CVT, parking brake, our auto hold, our drive mode select. I like the trim overall. And then center console, pretty interesting with the opening there. You've got some nice stitching that kind of wraps all the way through. And also, we've got some storage space underneath. Pretty cool wood trim here on the dash with the silver trim, and that leads us to the glove box, which is, well, a glove box. And up top, we've got our controls for the full panoramic sunroof, which made this video possible because it let some extra light into the cabin. Now here's our window sticker for this 2023 Rogue. You guys can see base MSRP is $38,640. There are some options added to this particular one. Total MSRP, $42,555. Let's see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility over the hood. Both the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring, and then throughout the rest of the rear. Also, hope you can see the ambient lighting. And where's that heads-up display? There. Oh, there you go. Now we got a heads-up display. Let's set off. Off here in the Rogue Platinum, aka the bougie Rogue, right? This is the loaded up bad boy. And well, here's the deal. First off, when it comes to the ride quality, it's actually really good. That's one of the things I do like about the Rogue is it rides pretty well. Now, I will say that pretty much every single crossover in this segment is about the same when it comes to ride quality. None of them are really doing anything groundbreaking, but I guess, you know, they're all comfortable, which is good. One thing I do like is the gauge cluster with the Rogue. I know some people are kind of like iffy on that. I think it looks pretty cool. It's definitely kind of weird, futuristic-y, and I don't know. I just think it's definitely a unique take, and so I'm all about it. Now, aside from that, let's see how the steering is. This is my tripod, don't worry. Yeah, steering's light, it's pretty direct as well. Seat comfort's really good. I am appreciative of the heated seat right now because, well, it's finally starting to get cold here in Utah. I thought that it never would, but we are finally experiencing it. Going over these little bumps, suspension again, yeah, it's handling pretty well. There is a bit of road noise from the tires. Let me make sure the windows. Yeah, so windows are all closed. Yeah, so there is a bit of road noise from the tires. Again, it's kind of expected in this segment of crossover. Let's see how it does over these train tracks. Yeah, pretty solid so far. Okay, continuing along here in the Rogue, I do have it in the sport mode right now. By the way, I'm not a fan of heads up displays, so I'm gonna turn that off. You guys saw in the first portion of the video. I don't know what it is. It's kind of like I'd rather just look down, but that's me personally. I know some people, you know, live by them at this point. But yeah, continuing going over these little manhole covers. It's doing a really good job. I do like how this handles. It has this kind of like lightweight, sippy feel to it. Yeah, it's pretty good. I definitely wouldn't call it a sports car by any means, but the steering and the handling and everything, it definitely kind of lends to that. Lights are good too, I will say that. Having these LED lights definitely helps out. Wow, I can't believe I came at the same exact, that's weird. But pretty dang good. Turbocharged engine does good at elevation. And something I want to quickly show you guys. So this is the Xtronic CVT. I'm a huge fan of it. So notice I downshift. It's pretty responsive. Upshift. Again, it's pretty dang responsive overall. So like in terms of a CVT with the transitions, I definitely would say that it's one of the better ones out there, if not the best that I have reviewed in a while. But summing things up fully here with the Rogue, I think that it looks great. This Platinum package definitely adds to the luxury bougie experience here with the Rogue. The one thing that I will say though is if you're looking for pure value, then you're probably going to want to get the SL package. because you're going to be able to get pretty much all these features, and it's going to be a little bit less expensive. The Platinum's still cool, but it's definitely not the value play in the Rogue lineup, but it seems like it's, you know, one that a lot of people like because, well, it's top of the line. That's gonna sum things up with our video on this Nissan Rogue Platinum. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Tim Daly Nissan here in Murray, Utah for you some time with this Rogue. Check out the inventory in the description down below. Ask for Jeff if you have any questions. I'll see you.